Hello and welcome to my second match from the C Division of the Dominion League against Skumpy. This is the feature game for two reasons. The first reason is that we get to look at a new card from the latest Dominion expansion Rising Sun. It is a prophecy called Flourishing Trade. I have not played with this card before. Flourishing Trade reads, when the prophecy is fulfilled, of course, cards cost one less coin and you can convert your action plays into buys. It was not entirely clear to me what the second part of Flourishing Trade was trying to say, but we figure it out by the end of the game, and I would like to share that knowledge with you. The second reason we are looking at this game is because it serves as a reminder of some ideas that you should keep in mind when playing as second player. First, let's have a look at the kingdom. We have trashing from many sources here. Steward will trash, River Shrine will trash, and Altar will trash. We have gain from River Shrine, and from Altar. We have plus buy from the Buried Treasure. We have plus buy from Workers Village and from Tactician. Tactician also gives you cards along with Courtyard, Shepherd, and Steward and Crew. Tactician also gives you plus action along with Workers Village. Initially, I like Tactician decks, double Tactician decks, and I try to look to see if it's possible in any kingdom to build a double Tactician deck. However, I don't think it's possible here because there are too many treasures that you would want to play. Buried treasures in the kingdom. Capitalism can turn Mystic and Steward into treasures. You want to play those, and Tactician discards your hand so you can play no treasures. Additionally, this is a colony game. It's not obvious here. So there's a fourth powerful treasure that you would like to play, the Platinum. Casting aside the Tactician, double Tactician deck, what is left? Your traditional, I'll play village, I'll play some draw, then I'll drop treasures on the table. Without Tactician, there is only one pile of villages here, the Workers Village, and that pile is of great importance when building your deck. That pile is under pressure. Skumpy starts the game. I'm second player. We'll get that second player perspective from my hands. They start with 4 and they open with a River Shrine, another card from Rising Sun, an excellent card to open with. Trashes 2 and gains a card costing up to 4. I have 5-2. I was tempted by the Buried Treasure into River Shrine maybe, but I don't like Buried Treasure. It's a stop card. It doesn't do anything on the turn you have it in hand. And I don't need the money just yet, I think. I think I can get to 5 later on, especially with the gainer in the form of River Shrine. So I skip the Buried Treasure. I pay 5 for River Shrine. And on 3, I was expecting Steward from my opponent to trash very quickly. And they'd gain a Workers Village off the River Shrine. They can convert that Steward into a treasure of the capitalism so it doesn't burden the limited village space that we have. However, they opt for a Courtyard, and that is going to be my choice on 2 as well. They get the good draw on turn 3, Courtyard right away. Into 4 coin into a Workers Village. I am going to follow suit on the Workers Village. You have to pay very close attention to the Workers Village split, the Workers Village pile here, because it's the only source of plus action barring Tactician. And even Tactician will just give you 1 more action. So I'm doing my best to keep up with my opponent. Out comes their River Shrine, trashes Copper and Estate, and likely will gain another Workers Village. They do. My Courtyard and my River Shrine collide on turn 4. Most times you would play the Courtyard, just top deck the River Shrine and avoid collision that way. However, I didn't want both my Courtyard and my River Shrine to miss the shuffle, so I give up on the Courtyard play. For the first shuffle, just trash a couple of cards, staying close to my opponent and also gaining a second Workers Village. Another good draw for my opponent, Workers Village into Courtyard. likely will find their river shrine. Here it is. Trashes to estate. That's great for them. No more estates for them. And they pick up a third workers' village. There's only one sun token left on the Flourishing Trade prophecy. You'll see it at the top right. And it will be removed soon. When my opponent plays their river shrine, that sun token will be removed and Flourishing Trade will be in effect. Again, I could play the courtyard to avoid collision here potentially and top deck the river shrine, but I have the opportunity now to get rid of the 2 estates. Additionally, there are 2 workers' villages in those 7 cards, so I might draw one of those dead and not hit 5 on my next shuffle, so I avoid all the complications regarding drawing a workers' village dead and just play the river shrine quietly, pass it back to my opponent. Couple of workers' villages into a river shrine for Skumpy. They don't trash anything, but it was important to play the river shrine to get the sun token off of the prophecy, the final sun token. Now, as you can see in front of you, all the cards in the kingdom cost 1 less. That allows them to pick up a buried treasure for 4 coin and they pass it back to me. I have 5. I was just going to pick up a buried treasure here. However, with the price reduction from the prophecy from Flourishing Trade, I'm able to get a courtyard along with my buried treasure. I'm happy about the second courtyard in my deck, especially considering I have 3 villages in there. Village into courtyard for Skumpy. They spend a bit of time here deciding what to do. In the end, they go for a river shrine play to trash 1 card and buy an altar along with a second courtyard. They could have trashed 2, but then it meant they would not have the money for the courtyard. They chose to trash just the 1, pick up the courtyard, pass it back to me. I get the nice connection here with the village and the courtyard. I choose to top deck a village because I don't need any more money. I'll trash the 1 here. I'll trash 2 actually, sorry, because I have the money from the buried treasure that allows me to get an altar myself for the gains and a 3rd courtyard. Now I need some more villages in my deck. I have 3 courtyards in along with an altar and a river shrine. Here's my opponent's altar. They go ahead, they trash for a crew. So that draws a bit more, 1 more card than the courtyard. It's good for my opponent. They have 3 now. I expect this to be, you guessed it, workers' village. We are saturating the deck with terminals now, so we need to alleviate that problem by adding workers' villages into the deck. Again, here the issue is how much money you want. I want all of the money possible because I'll trash 1 with the altar. I also was planning to get a crew, a mystic, and I bought a workers' village. And at this point here is where the second player ideas started to kick in. You cannot buy anything other than 2 workers' villages here. When I say buy, I mean gain 1, buy 1. That allows you as second player to have 5 workers' village. You will share that pile. If I went for the mystic and workers' village play, it leaves the door open for my opponent to win the village split 6-4. And in a kingdom where that is the only source of plus action, you are likely going to lose the game. Your deck will be less consistent. Your deck will have less power. As a result, you will get punished in a long game for having a deck with only 4 villages. If you only get the 4 villages, you are committing to playing a short game. You want to empty the piles as soon as possible and have the game over and done with before you get punished for the lack of consistency and lack of power. However, the game is nowhere near done, even with the lower cost. So I take back my buys, I realize my mistake, and I'm going to stay humble, stay quiet, and just pick up the 2 workers' villages, pass it back to my opponent. It's not the greatest turn, but it is a necessary turn. It is a necessary turn. My opponent finds their crew. They see their whole deck. Their top deck card, probably a Workers Village if I had to guess. They draw it back right away. Here's the altar, trashing a copper. This time they get a gold because they can draw and play the gold right away. They get up to 9. Now, ordinarily here is where you want to start to add payload into the deck because I can see all the cards. Now I want to see better cards. So platinum seems a natural choice. However, because of the pressure on the Workers Village pile, my opponent is sort of forced into a position where they have to take the Workers Village. That takes them off the money necessary for the platinum, and they have to settle for gold and another courtyard. So they have a bit more draw than me in the form of an extra crew. We have the same number of villages and our trashing is about the same, I'd say. However, because of that Workers Village split situation, this is going to allow me to break symmetry here a little bit. I top deck a Workers Village. I'm going to also gain a gold off of this altar, but I don't need to buy Workers Village unlike my opponent on their last turn. Here, I can go for the big treasure. I can buy a platinum first. That allows me to break the symmetry. Get a platinum, I get another courtyard. 4 courtyards in the deck. And 5 villages. We're looking fine in terms of that balance. This is a bit of luck for me. A very unlucky and poor turn for my opponent. They did not find any other villages except for that lead Workers Village. As a result, their turn is cut short, just trashing a copper into a crew and buying a platinum. What this allows me to do now is to reverse the first player advantage. I am setting the tone. I am setting the pace for this game now because of that bad turn from my opponent. And I can mitigate my own bad turns by top decking Workers Villages. I'll do so on this turn. But first, we need to see how we could maximize this opportunity that we've been given here. I see the whole deck. Top deck a Workers Village. I have only 2 actions in play. I choose to gain a gold here. That is arguably better than Mystic if I can see it all the time. I have the draw to support the gold. Later, when the deck becomes a little tough to draw, Mystic will be better. But for now, the gold is the better card. Drop the gold, top deck our Workers Village, put down our money. We have 5 buys and 13 coin. Another platinum, yes please. What do we do with the rest of the money? I'm going to buy a crew. I considered a courtyard here, but I do not have the terminal space to include another courtyard. So I stopped here, especially because I'm thinking about including a second crew in the deck and maybe trashing the courtyards with the altar to gain gold or buried treasure or something, whatever is necessary at that point in time. Stay away from the courtyard on this turn. I don't have the terminal space, I think. So my opponent now has their full turn because last turn was bad. It's very likely that this turn will be a full turn, whole deck scene, but I'm, like I said, setting the pace now. I have the extra platinum. Opponent trashes a copper. They gain a gold. They'll draw that gold up. They have 15. They buy a second platinum and they buy another gold. With 2, they could get a steward, but they choose to get nothing instead. Lucky for me to see the crew right away. Also lucky for me to see all the Workers Villages right away. Why I say that is because we now explore the second part of Flourishing Trade. I had no idea how it worked, but I thought that, alright, I can convert my actions into buy. So I thought there would be some kind of prompt or some kind of sign that says, alright, instead of playing courtyard for cards, just play it as a plus buy, like a ruin market. That is not how it works, but you do get plus buys for the actions you have in place. So in front of you, you see I have 7 buys and 4 actions. If I stop my turn here and use all 7 buys, I can then use the actions, the 4 actions as buys. So in total, if I want, I have 11 buys. After some conversation between me and Skumpy and some playing around on the interface, is not obvious to me at all. It's not intuitive that this is how Flourishing Trade works, but the reason why I invested the time and the conversation with my opponent is because there's a win on the board. Courtyards are cheap and estates are cheap. They both cost 1, and 7 and 4 is 11. That's 8 estates, 3 courtyards. I have a heap of platinum in the deck. I more than have the money. And we'll finish it off with a Flourishing Trade ending here. Courtyard, 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 and the 8 estates to win this game. We received a slight opening as second player, and because we were close enough to our opponent, we were able to capitalize and end the game. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.